Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Thursday. Today is December 21st. It is officially winter solstice. Well, as of 10:27 this evening Eastern time, it will be officially the winter solstice. And I know that that's like the opener of winter, right? But what I didn't know is that and I've also all known since grade school that it was like the darkest, how I learned it was the darkest night, the night before, but it actually is the longest day. So however you choose to look at it, right? Like half full, half empty type of vibes, right? But I realized that it actually is the day when the earth is half of the earth is the farthest away from the sun. And I didn't know that that's really what it came down to, like in a very cosmic and natural sense. So I think that that's very symbolic. First of all, sometimes it happens on the 22nd, but this year it's on the 21st. So it's 12/21, which is like a mirror image, right? Consider that symbology. And then the fact that half of the earth is the farthest from the sun, but it only lasts for a night, and then we're actually moving right back around in time to the point where now days are going to slowly but surely be longer, where eventually we're even going to have warmer weather as we, of course, us feeling like we're being at the top of the winter. That seems like a far distance ahead, but in reality, it's the truth, at least for this hemisphere, that's where we're headed, and I liken it to the idea that the worst is behind us. So definitely be an expectation for some great changes on the horizon, as they're already happening cosmically and celestially. They're also happening within us with a new season, new year just ahead. Christmas is about to come and go. So much happening in the cosmos that I could speak to, but I won't. So it's just like primed for change in a big and powerful way. And I feel like me grasping it, winter solstice is one thing, but me grasping all of these concepts in one, collective as I am, is really pointing to something really astounding about to happen. I can feel the energy, the buildup, almost kind of like a nervousness, like, I don't know, like the first day of school type of nervousness, or when you were younger and you were the next day at school, it was going to be like a field trip or something like that, or even like a holiday party when it's not going to be like your regular run-of-the-mill day at school. Don't ask me why I'm likening it to school, but that's just what's coming up, because it's like a youthful giddiness that I'm feeling inside of me that's like, what is happening? It's not just Christmas vibes, because we still got a few days away for that. It may be something a little bit more immediate, so keep your eyes peeled, good, bad, or indifferent, this weekend, particularly because this is the last weekend before Christmas, shopping, celebrating, and otherwise. One last, ditch warning, word of wisdom to be mindful of where you're going and who you're hanging out with and what you're doing and what you're buying, what you're investing in, and the same vice versa energy towards you. But definitely to be open to something, miraculous, magnificent at least. Maybe not miraculous, but magnificent for sure is what I'm feeling. So there's that, okay? So anyway, happy 12/21, happy winter solstice. And no matter what, I'm praying that this shift into the new season is a graceful one for you. All right, so let's see what we got. then we get the trickster energy, right, on the bottom. The Seven of Swords, like somebody looking to be sneaky, deceptive. But you know what? I immediately hear this. It's literally, and I don't always pick up this vibe with this card, so trust me, I'm not trying to force it. but I literally hear the adverse energy, the dual energy, as I just explained it, where they're, you definitely be mindful where you're going and what you're doing and who you're doing it with, because this energy is out there, but it's because that there's something on the horizon really good that these energies are on the lookout for to perhaps intercept or disturb, to invade, or, like last ditch effort, as I said, the darkest night before the longer days, the extension of our days. So of course it wouldn't even be on brand for energies to sniff out the possibility of something fantastic happening and not try to find some way to intersect or interfere or do whatever it is that they feel satisfied to do. I feel it's going to be at a great disappointment for the most part, because it's just, 'tis the season for many things, but not for treachery. That's one thing is not the season for, and I feel like anybody that's still operating in this vibration is going to be thoroughly disappointed by the return of their efforts and the harvest of their seeds ultimately, because it's not going to be what's intended whatsoever. So you be not dismayed. Rest assured that if you're awaiting some great death card, like if you're waiting something amazing on the horizon, you can continue to look forward to it, because, and that's a shame too, right? Like, who wants to face energy like that in the lower vibration, in the most finite vibration during the holidays? So it's like, word to the wise of those that are looking to be in a deceptive energy, just stop. No matter what you think your ambition, what you've worked up your expectation for your ambitions to be, it's not going to look great for you, if at all. I don't know why I even bother, y'all. Well, we got the death card on the board. Let's see what else we got. Exactly, like, no, it's not happening. Two of the freaking Knight of Cups, some type of offer, extension, proposition. If it's not pure, it's going to be stopped before it even gets off the ground. Judgment in the death card, that's like, it better be something pure in that cup. Look, and they're coming out exactly how I need them to today. That's amazing. 1 and 2 and 3, exactly. Because the 10 of Pentacles, and here's the Magnificence right here. So that there's transformative energy here in the realm for those, I feel like in the higher vibration, the death card is like really putting an end to even your contention with energy such as the 7 of Swords. You see how I'm kind of like dismissive of it? It's like, yeah, of course it would persist or show its face in some way, shape, or form, but to really kind of be unbothered by even the projection of it at this point, not to get up in arms, not to start to put yourself in all types of like, all types of on guard, and it might potentially, allow it to potentially damper your enthusiasm for celebration, whether it be with yourself or otherwise, like make you stay in the house and be all paranoid. And it's like, no, we're not doing any of that. We're not going to stop celebrating what is now and what is to come. We're not going to stop enjoying ourselves in the present moment. We're also not going to stop looking forward to what more there is in store. It's like everything is a cause for celebration at this time, and there's nothing that is going to ruin that. No, not even the projection of a possible disruption, interference, or interruption. Like, that's exactly what that energy will want you to feel, because I feel like really a lot of these energies that even have the mind to be in opposition are really already tangling themselves up in some type of weave or web, or they're about to be tangled up just for the pure intention in itself. But they're so tied up, perhaps even with their best intentions of doing something evil or adverse, it's not even well put together, because the energy is all off. So even with the best intentions to set out and write and really, hatch this plan, this, one last ditch effort, is like the type of energy where they go to leave the house and the car breaks down, or like you go, God forbid, you actually catching flights to do some silly shit. Like you go to catch a flight and everything is canceled. You can't fly out. You know what I mean? Or you go to, I don't know, like wherever your intention for mayhem is, it gets stopped before it, like I said, before it even leaves the drawing board type of thing, So it's like they're dealing with that contention anyway, not to mention for those that actually get it off the ground or get their motivation off the ground and end up getting met with the same energy that they were about to expel. That's a whole nother thing, which I feel like is what's actually happening. And if it's not now, it's soon to come, because I'm feeling a strong energy in the duality of this experience of the darkest night and transitioning us into, this other side with the winter solstice. Literally, like I was saying, that mirror effect with the 12 and the 21 is that some people are experiencing life in one way and some are experiencing it in a whole nother. And it's going to be very clear as to who's on each side of that colon or semicolon, whatever it is with 12. You know what I'm trying to say. I was seeing it as time for some reason, like 12/21. Which is interesting. But the date, the slash, who's ever on the other end of that slash is the distinction, right? So some people may be thinking that they're about to be off, riding off into the sunset with their new plot and plan, but it's going to be a rude awakening for sure. Or maybe not an awakening at all, unfortunately, if people don't really cut the crap right now, right here, right now. And for those of us that have the anticipation, the motivation for magnificence, it's like judgment is here for all of it. The 10 of Pentacles is materialization beyond measure. Well, it's not beyond measure because it is the 10, right? But it signifies something more multiplicitous than even the 10. It's like that's the suit, the 10, but it's beyond even just the confinement of measurement, because it speaks to legacy, it speaks to longevity, it speaks to partnership, family, and past, present, and future, even present in this card with the old man, the couple, and the child, it speaks to creation overall, your impact on it and its impact on you. Well, I guess I should say its impact on you and your impact on it, or chicken or the egg, whichever one you see first. With the 4 of Wands, which is amazing. I didn't really even connect to the magnificence of this like trio here. 4 of Wands is harmony and balance in your home life, stability, or in whatever it is that you're establishing. It literally can be an establishment. It could be of business, but I see it as an establishment of legacy in this regard. Maybe even an establishment of wealth, generational wealth, to be more specific. And the Temperance, which we know is that alchemy of spirit, which aligns with your best efforts, your best intentions to expand that experience, to really balance all things, which would be including of any energies that would come to oppose this evolution, this expression of sorts, this emergence is what I really should say. It's like you don't really want to go up against this angel right here. The Temperance, some say is, well, first of all, we got 2 archangels here, because some say this is Gabriel and this is Michael. Honestly, sometimes I see them as a flip-flop, which I won't go into right now. But either way you splice it, this is 2 heavy hitters in the realm, active, that are, as the scripture says, particularly for Archangel Michael, neither for or against you. They're for the ordinance of the universe. So whomever is in alignment or in agreement with that ordinance, you be in good hands. You're in the flow, so you got this force on your side. Anybody, there's the death angel, anybody that's against that ordinance, proactively, hyperactively, you got a force to be reckoned with here that I wouldn't suggest it. I wouldn't suggest it. It's a very this or that scenario happening right now. To lead with the death card, and like I said, it's either in the highest vibration, a transformative experience where whatever is set to happen. I mean, consider this energy alone, to have the 10 of Pentacles at your fingertips, to have an exaltation of, or an elevation in your home and family life, or just stability. I mean, one equals the other, right? One kind of moves into the other, with more material wealth perhaps in your possession, or more opportunity to obtain it. Maybe even if we're talking about in a mystical way or a spiritual way, like a burst of spiritual gifts that come online all at once. Let's not forget that either, especially with the angel cards here, Judgment and the Temperance, that will just almost immediately bring a certain settlement and a certain peace to your everyday life. That's the expression with the Four of Wands, like your everyday life now, kind of like yesterday I was saying, like the expectation of things to just not just go well, but to go better than expected. This is like a continuance of that energy to some degree. And like I said, the only difference is and it's a huge hawk just circling around outside the window. Wow. It never gets this close. Wow. Take that as a sign. But it's just like, it's just a promise fulfilled ultimately. And what I was saying is, with the death card, it's like it is transformative because it's the likes of what you've never experienced before in this way and at this level of magnificence. And for the adverse, the other side of that mirror, for those that refuse to fall in alignment with universal ordinance, will be transformed or transitioned in some other way determined by the spirit of all, of which I have no determination for. I don't, at least as far as I know, I don't have the authority to say yay or nay in that regard, or what that gets to be in the 3D. But all I know is I do have the authority to call it how I see it, that it's very much so the possibility on the table that if you're still moving against the spirit is going to move against you. You're going to transform or transition one way or another. You will not be able to continue to be obstinate to evolution and natural ordinance as it's been ordained, and think that life is going to continue as it was, or even things are going to go on without a hitch. It's just not. It wouldn't even make any sense. It's like, universally, think about the laws of the universe. The two can't really coexist. There's no harmony between those energies right now. They each, maybe within their own timeline and their own space, can exist in that regard, very oppositely. But in terms of energies that are still looking to be treacherous, is particularly against those that it's unjustified to do so, like against innocent, so-called innocent people. I use that in quotes, but you know what I mean, against people that are unassuming, that, there's not, this is what I feel. I feel like these energies that are persistent to be treacherous are going to ultimately pit, if they haven't already, they're going to cancel each other out. They're going to exist in a space and time where they're almost confined to that energy that they wished to cultivate and vibrate in, where others are going to be kind of like either on the outside in or the inside out, whichever way it gets to play out, but there's going to be a clear separation, even though we're sharing the same realm and the same, perhaps even the same timeline and space to some degree, and we may even be in passing of one another. But like I've said before, it's going to be like two worlds existing in one, where people that are intentional about moving in a certain frequency are going to be able to exist in that reality much more, if not immediately so, definitely progressively so, without the interference of energies that are just literally dead set on being obstinate to that flow. And they'll be able to do so in a way that's unscathed, that has spiritual support, that's sacred and sound in its own, like literally like its own little force field of sorts, with enough material. And it could be like the disparity between those that are insistent on that other vibration, struggling to survive, to make ends meet, to have peace and harmony in their lives, to find the essence of spirit and truth and the alignment of the two. Literally like in despair in the world, whereas on the other side, people are thriving, plenty of money and opportunities to go around, or if there's even a need for money, however the world revolves at that and in that energy, it'll be enough to go around for everyone to be very satisfied, sustainable, secure, sound, happy with the Four of Wands, spiritually sound, without being able to find a more intellectual word, but literally like spirit and truth in alignment, in accord. And I feel like those other energies are going to have nothing but themselves to contend with, which is going to be a very maleficent existence to have, so that either those that have, and here's the hawk again, flying even closer, those that have the heart and the mind and the will to kind of break through that energy will be able to. It may be a hard, it may not be an easy feat, but it may be possible when they finally tire themselves out of having to deal. Like the Seven of Swords itself is an energy where it thinks it's getting away with something, but it actually goes and confronts its energy elsewhere, or is confronted by its energy elsewhere. And I feel like that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like these energies are kind of creating the world. They're thinking they were creating a world for others to inhabit, but they're really creating their own existence. And then the way the spirit is confronting this energy, both with the judgment and also with the temperance, it's like when you really have to live in a world such as the one you wanted to project for others, it really forces you to kind of take stock of who you truly are and what life you truly want to live. Now, some people may be so self-sacrificing that they continue on that spiral and literally unto their own demise and just say, F it, they gonna go out guns blazing, or they just refuse to know any other means of existence, or any way to expel energy. So they're going to refuse their way all the way until, their ultimate termination, whatever that gets to look like, or just live in that vibration eternally, i.e. heaven and hell on earth, right? And for those that find the will and the strength to push through, to maybe perhaps learn the lessons that they may have missed along the way before this split occurs, though I feel like those are, the spirit must be kind of covering them in some way anyway, to have the will to push through amidst all of the hardship. And it ain't going to be easy, but to push through all of the hardship, to, have faith for something beyond that, would afford, a graceful chance to perhaps cross over into a more glorious existence of life experience, where I don't know, like there could be still a great sacrifice that happens in the meantime, in between time of that transition. But that's what I mean, like one way or another, you're either going to transform or you're going to transition. Someone that's insistent about a life that of treachery may tire themselves out and see that there really is no better way but to transform, you know what I mean? And otherwise transition. And when I mean transition, I mean route up out of here in the physical form. And then, as I said, it still always is still a matter of choice, the power of which we all hold. So it can't be hopeless for anyone. I don't think, anyway, it can't be hopeless altogether for anyone, no matter what. It's just a matter of what you're willing to endure and to forge ahead into, to create the reality that you believe is possible. And it's no different than what we've all been doing even up until this point. It's just that still with that duality, some of us faced a lot of treachery, a lot of uphill battle, a lot of spiritual warfare just to get to this point. And it wasn't easy in that regard either. It was probably even harder because there was less spiritual intelligence as to why and what the hell was going on, who was around you, who was really even the enemy, even unto your own self, and still you had to push ahead. You had to strive forward. So it's really there's nothing unfair happening here. It's just that the striving was happening when there was a grace for all to kind of like learn, learn on a curve in some way, shape, or form, for those that were given every opportunity for prosperity and those that were, a bit impoverished, it felt or seemed, in their resources. There was still a lesson to be learned and a matriculation to be made. It just was a matter of what steps you took throughout that educational process, so to speak, as to where we are right now, But even though the challenges, the test may have looked a bit different on either end, it still was no less challenging, I don't think, to consider someone that on the impoverished end doesn't have all that they need, but you're watching everybody else win, or you don't seem to quite be able to fulfill this measure of success that you even, aspire to, or really like clinch like a plateau or pivotal moment of prosperity or even productivity that you idealize for yourself, but you're seeing everybody else do it, or you're seeing there be shortcut. You're being presented with ways that you could take a shortcut or side swipe your way to that end result. That's hard to stay focused and, to follow that inner light as to what gets to be the righteous path forward. And then for someone that has it all, that literally, is able to, regardless of how they got to it, once you open yourself into that world of prosperity and wealth and riches, there's so many temptations that come along with that, as well, to maintain that posture and also to, new opportunities to advance it as well, and then then you contending with your ego. Both actually are contending with ego and pride in different ways, because you're confronted with the pride and ego on the lower vibration of not having it in comparison to others, and then on the higher, so-called higher vibration, talking materially more than anything, you're faced with the pride and ego of the fear of falling off and not having it. So you continue, we know what I'm talking about here. I don't really need to beat it down, but ultimately I feel like everyone, even when all seems hopeless and lost, and the so-called judgment day truly forges the separation between the haves and the have-nots, the wheat from the chaff, however you choose to see it. there still will be a choice to be made. You know, there's still a choice to be made. So it matters even now, you know, as we approach the darkest night of the year, you know, that you still choose wisely, no matter what side of the game you consider yourself to be on, because truly only the spirit can judge, right? What source is looking for in terms of righteousness and holiness and integrity and all those other higher vibrational energies. So what matters is that you're actually choosing in the most intentional frequency of integrity as you possibly can, even now, when it seems like you have the most to look forward to, or when it feels like you have nothing to look forward to. Every moment counts, as far as I can tell, you know. All right, so let's see. Down to these last ditch moments of people still moving in the Seven of Swords. It's like, what are you doing? You know, like, haven't we had enough of this energy already? Come on now. Like, seriously. It may seem like I just gotta do it one more time. I gotta see if this is my final chance to really make this one stick, make this one count, but it's going to count towards your demise, and I promise you, you will not be happy with the results. You won't. So even though it seems a bit late in the game, and maybe you feel like you've invested too much to throw in the towel now, trust me, you don't want to throw in that towel on this one. And it still matters that you would do so right now, even though it seems like some people might feel like, well, I've come too far, I might as well, you know, go for the gusto. But it's like, even now, it still matters for you to turn around and say, like, you know what, I'm done with this. This is it. Yeah, exactly. Lest you sacrifice yourself, like, to really just slow down and let yourself be enlightened about the true path forward. Let's see, 3 more. I know I've been doing this pyramid. Yeah, it's the true path forward, okay? And that could be in a foolish regard or in a faithful regard. It's like up to you. You know, it always is up to us. Even when we feel like our hand is forced, spiritually or truthfully, you know, like when we feel like our environments are pressuring us to be or do a certain thing. Dang, just popping off, right? Yeah, it's still up to you to stay in that righteous alignment. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's a lot of highly spiritual energy on this board, man. The Judgment, the Temperance, the High Priestess, even the Hangman is about enlightenment, as I said. The Death card. One more, Spirit. That's too many. Just one. That's too many, but that's the Lovers. And look, still stay scheming. What's that song? I don't even know what song that is. I just know that line. Don't do it. Oh, I'm going to take that, but that's the Page of Pentacles. Oh, too little, too late. Goodness me. World card, Wheel of Fortune, and the World. Okay, if that's not a straight up omen, like we're done here, we are done here, old world cycles are closing, karmic cycles are coming to an end. You don't want to start a new karmic cycle. Well, you don't want to start a new world order and a brand new karmic cycle. That's what you don't want for yourself. You want to try to eliminate that karmic blowback as much as possible. Even now, it might seem like you already balls in, and that was almost the Sun card, but trust me, it still matters. What's that? That's the decision right there, to balance that energy wisely. Literally up under that temperance card, but like I always say, with the temperance, it's only a matter of what you're going to be offering to spirit as to what spirit can do for you. So if you going, and you got to recognize what spirits are in play right now. It's not the maleficent energies that once were overruling the light, or at least they seem to be. They seem to really be wreaking havoc. It's a new sheriff in town. It's a new sheriff in town. And not to say that the sheriff wasn't always on post to some degree, but it's like the deputies were running rampant in the field, like corrupt as hell. They had their own operation going, and it was only so much the sheriff could really do to regulate that energy. But now it's something different at play here now. It's literally a new line of security and enforcement at play that is not tolerant of anything less than productivity and prosperity. Anything less than integrity, I should say. So you better be real sure that whatever it is that you've aligned yourself with or aligned yourself to do, let there be no question about it, as to whether or not it's in divine alignment with who you are designed to be. Maybe you're designed to wreak havoc in these streets. Hell, I mean, consider most of us have grown on account of the opposition. We've expanded on account of the great tests and trials that we faced. We've gained knowledge and strength and courage on account of the adversity. So clearly there's always a place for polarities, However, it's time to recognize when, your work is done here, sir, ma'am. Like, you've done what you came to do. Job well done. You did it well. You absolutely did it well. Now, what are you going to do for yourself? How will you save your soul? How will you at this point? But anyway, let's see what we got. Oh my God. Like, seriously? Let's see, what's he running into? Or running away from? Still thinking I don't know. It really don't even matter either way, because with the Three of Wands and the Seven of Swords, it's like no matter what your plan or expectation is, it's still not going to be any more than what you've already created. So this is still the energy of people sending out vibrations, intentions, and being motivated to do evil things, more or less, and expecting a return on that investment. And you're going to be waiting for forever to see the return that you were looking for, but it ain't going to take very long at all for you to see the return of that very energy that you expelled to you. Okay? And I don't think I've quite finished this thought, but I was saying earlier the difference between the Seven of Swords that I don't always play on sometimes when I was talking about something big, something good is coming, is that sometimes this is like almost like a secret passageway of something that's being transported, whether it be by way of information, direction, enlightenment, I would say, with the sword energy, but it's something that's happening like secretively, almost sneakily to some degree. That's the highest vibration you can give the Seven of Swords, especially in relation to what I was saying earlier in the beginning, whereas I feel like this energy is sweeping in and it's like, what is it? What am I? This is me looking forward to it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what is this? What am I about to experience that has got my, my senses tantalized, And then this is the energy, it's not quite revealed itself, like you don't really know what it is, unlike when you know you're going on a school trip or it's a holiday party. But the thing about the element of that is still the not knowing exactly what, oh my God, this hawk is like right here. That's crazy. Not knowing still how it's going, like what you're truly going to experience, even if you have an itinerary. It's like, well, you don't know, you don't know what so and so is going to do on the bus, or what sights you're going to see once you get there. You just don't know how much you're going to enjoy it. So there's still some element of surprise to it, even if you know that it's something good or something that you are going to enjoy. So that's the upside of this energy here, even to close, is that there's still a great expectation to maintain. And as I said, like this is like, its energy itself is almost past, so that whether I do it like this is running into the expectation that it thought it left behind, straight into it. And when I do it like this, it's like you still are left here to hold great expectations, and that nothing that this energy can do can really interfere now in this energetic force that we're currently in, because it's just time's up for that. The judgment says so, temperance says so. You as the high priestess, you probably already knowing that for just as much as you have to look forward to, you can count on the fact that somebody else is looking forward to trying to be an op. You know what I mean? But the difference now in this energy, especially given, remember, 12/12/21, us crossing over darkest night into, the longest day, and finally leaving the worst behind us. Literally, the worst is that although that energy may be persistent and insistent on its own demise, it no longer has to be our concern and our problem. You don't have to plan accordingly and like to protect yourself according to what other energies are insistent to do. Because I may be speaking out of turn with this, but I just feel it doesn't mean not to be mindful, as I'm even saying, like, be mindful where you're going through the rest of the holiday season. But that's more so a personal protection, like to really keep your energy tempered and protected in a way that's in your best interest. It's not really so much about what other people are going to do, like you going out of your way not to do something because you think there's some threat or some harm or foul by way of some external force. It's like the transitioning that we're moving through, and maybe hell, that's enough to look forward to on its own, is not feeling like we have to be so guarded about what the opposition has planned, or every time something good happens, what's going to be the counteract or the counterattack, dare I say, or what is holding back these things that we're in expectation for in the first place. Like still feeling like, well, damn, is it ever going to get here? Am I ever going to see it in the 3D, in the physical form? The darkest night is trailing behind us, surely and certainly, as we move into this winter solstice, where depending on where you are, the temperature might drop, but the expectations can continue to rise, for sure and for certain. And when I say temperature, I mean even, the surrounding projections, as I'm saying, like we may live in a very dualistic world in such a way that it may seem almost unrealistic or ridiculous to have great expectations for continued success and prosperity and productivity, when you can so vividly see the adverse occurring right before your eyes, where people are struggling, people are losing their lives or losing their minds or losing a grip on reality or losing relationships, or not seeming to find their own peace and happiness, and literally may have a hard time obtaining and maintaining resources. And you are like thriving, like literally living your best life. It may seem unbelievable to be able to think you can maintain that frequency, but such is the ordinance of the universe at this time. And the only injustice you can do for yourself is to feel in some regard that you're not due this experience on account of what others may be, on account of others' reality. You know, you have to kind of like be content with the reality that is true to you at this time, and almost kind of shield yourself from the adverse energies, not to be not to, you know, have no care for what others may be going through, but to kind of let the universe cover itself, you know, cover its bases, and almost like lead you and guide you in the way, by way of your integrity and what is your assignment as to how you get to be of assistance or support to those that are really in alignment to receive it, you know, that are designed and designated to receive your support and your help. Not everybody is. Energy such as this, most likely still operating in this vibration, are not. Family, friend, foe, stranger on the street, and the spirit will speak to you as to who and what that gets to be, you know, and who, and also your emotional intelligence will speak to you about who it doesn't get to be. But still, as it is with all of us, it's up to us to maintain that, to keep that channel filtered properly, so that you don't slip up and put yourself in a compromising position on account of, not listening, to yourself. Again, doubling down on the fact that it's not about being paranoid and like, oh my God, like what do I, feeling like you gotta, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death type of energy. Yeah, definitely fear no evil. So you don't have to feel like you have to shield yourself. You don't have to be afraid of every shadow that may come up upon you, because you're kind of walking with an active shield to some degree, but it's active by way of your integrity, of your devotion unto your supreme self. Everyone has chosen what their level of shielding gets to be, and some people are out here completely unprotected, and so it's not your responsibility to throw your shield over them, lest now you be vulnerable to attack. It's just not how it's designed to be. And it sounds harsh, but I feel like I'm saying this for a reason, I guess particularly because there is something big coming, something big is happening, and you could be finessed, you could finesse yourself by way of the Knight of Cups out of that experience, just by kind of faltering to the old way of being and believing that, righteousness is helping everyone, that you got to sacrifice yourself in order to live in the richness and righteousness of your existence. And it's just not so. It's just not so. It's not what it's designed for. It's not the design, I don't think, of universal order, but you can test it out and try it out and see, but my fear is that trial may be an error that you may not be able to recover from, because as I've said, the stakes are much higher and harder now across the board. Just as much as people are having to be responsible for the energy that they've expelled and now making definite decisions about how they continue on or don't, is the same responsibility that we have as well. On either end of the spectrum, everyone has a responsibility to govern their own energy accordingly. So, in the highest vibration, keep your head up, keep your eyes open for something amazing. Disregard anything that would want to counteract it or invade that space of high expectation, and just continue to stay in the integrity of your most supreme self and what you feel a devotion to and designed to do with whatever this great gift or magnificence of energy may be that's coming into you. You have that right and authority to govern yourself accordingly. All right, I'm done with this, I think. All right, so happy 12/21, happy winter solstice. By the time I'm back on here tomorrow, we'll officially be in winter season, and I will look forward to talking to you then. All right, until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.